You've already had your instructions one time. This is for the championship of the world. I expect a tough, clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. Any questions here? Any questions here? Let's get it on.
That was a weird posture by Tommy Morrison, bending over. Foreman's going to use every trick in the book. Saying he didn't work out hard, stalling at the beginning of the fight, complaining over the decision to get Mills Lane as referee, thus creating some dissension, some kind of controversy around the fight that really wasn't there, and we begin round one. It's scheduled for 12. Morrison is the first fighter Foreman has faced that can really, Foreman's got more savvy, more experience. Who's in better shape? It's questionable. Morrison's never really been tested in later rounds. And when he has, it's by guys like Joe Hipp. George Foreman, make no doubt about it, is not Joe Hipp. Foreman in the white trunks by Tommy Morrison, if nothing else, wins a few fans. Round one, scheduled 12-rounder left by Morrison. Morrison doesn't chase you. He's stalks you, perhaps, but doesn't chase you. He won't double up on many punches. Foreman doesn't double up on much except helping as he pushes Morrison in the corner. He's in with the best fighter he's ever fought. Mills Lane, the referee. Foreman did file a protest. Quickly soothed over by the Nevada Athletic Commission. Foreman's had a game plan. Wear out Morrison. First round, I think, very important for Morrison. Gained some confidence. He looked nervous. Clearly, he was nervous. A left by Morrison lands. I am telling you, Morrison throws a big bag of wheat. We are 5 rows back, and I'm feeling it from here. For one of the few times in his career, Morrison, he's usually been a go right at him as he comes with a right. He said he's a better fighter now. And Foreman made a mistake, lunged in, didn't throw a punch, and Morrison makes him pay for it. Morrison wins the first. When a guy has fought 75 fights, he pretty much knows every trick in the bag. So here we go, round two. Foreman, white trunks, takes a big left. Tommy's corner just telling him if he feels heat, get out of there. You can see Foreman kind of towers over him. Morrison saying midweek, hey, I'm a different fighter. I'm not a one-dimensional slugger. He comes out of the clinch with a left that partially lands, and partially is stinging for Morrison. Big George using that two-hand defense. Including every fan here, and probably even Mills Lane, is Morrison's reaction when he first gets tagged by Foreman. There's a left jab that lands. Oh, a big right by Morrison. Morrison's doing the slugging, Foreman the jabbing. This was pretty much, though, his game plan earlier. And Morrison there with a sloppy right, and that'll get you into trouble with George. That's reportedly when George wanted to go for the knockout. That's probably his best punch of the fight, actually. Under a minute in the second. It would be nice if when you fought Morrison, you could just start in the 6th round, have him tired a bit, because he is really a pain to fight for the first 6. Everything is meant to kill. Foreman lands a big one. Best flurry for Foreman thus far. And Morrison comes back, pushes George off with a left and a right, then another left. Scheduled 12-rounder. Morrison really gasping for air. On the good side, though, of being a little fatigued as a low blow comes in.
Get him up, come on!
Morrison doing almost all the work at this point, and that's what Foreman said. He was going to let him work his way out. A right uppercut hits Morrison, and then George leans into him, comes with another big right. Morrison's ready for the challenge. George will just lean on him. He's been able to do that with most guys, but you can't get that close to Morrison. Foreman stalking him now. Slight reach advantage, 1 inch to be exact. Left hand lands. Morrison wild with the left, a very dangerous punch. Almost be labeled as foolish. Open it up for Foreman. The end of the round should be interesting. A combination of Foreman's experience and Morrison's fatigue. Everybody on the edge of their seats, waiting for the big punch to be delivered from either side. George coming in, telegraphing a left, followed by a right. He's missed every time. Opened it up for Morrison, who delivered low with a right. Foreman realizes it. Straight left lands.
Time.
A little more aggressive round for Morrison, but Tommy held up well. Morrison's corner saying fakes and flints will keep George off of you, and a fake will keep you away from Morrison. Tommy clearly fatigued by midway through that round. Oh, that was a good right by Foreman. Didn't appear as hard during the actual fight, but the aerial view gives you a better look at it. Foreman gets tagged when he comes out. Marches right into a right from Morrison. Another left by Morrison. Foreman more aggressive. We didn't hear his corner. They apparently told him to go right after it. He landed a right, Morrison a left. Marquee punches for both fighters. Morrison a straight left, George a straight left of his own. Foreman much more aggressive, leaning in, kind of chasing Morrison down, not just stalking anymore.
All right, punch out. 2 hands are free. Hey, come on. Watch out.
Almost thought for a second Morrison's mouthpiece came out. He looked down after the more of a slap. Couple of rights by Foreman. Morrison comes out of it though swinging, and swinging big. Morrison hit and hit hard again. They're going at it center ring. Mills Lane seemingly a foot smaller than either fighter. Morrison kind of backing into a corner. The round's not even halfway through, and Tommy's breathing heavily. George, 20 years older, seems in better shape. Crowd chanting Foreman. Both guys will be sore tomorrow, even if it ends right now. This fight has Whirlpool written all over it. A left by Morrison, almost to the ear of Foreman. Morrison leaned in with a right hand. Foreman a little puffiness over his right eye. Oh, big right by George, and Morrison comes out swinging. You just can't take your eyes off the ring with these guys. Is there ever been a fight where one punch could end it for both fighters? I mean, really. All right, we begin round 5. One more and we're halfway through it. Tommy was waiting for him. Last round, George raced out and got stung. George went low and Morrison clobbered him with the left. George came back with a right. That was one of the better punches of the fight. You can see George's punches coming, although in many instances it doesn't matter. You can hear Morrison's coming. Morrison lands with a big right. Seemingly didn't hurt Foreman, who comes back with a left of his own. Foreman turned his back on him. Again, Morrison turned his back on him. Uppercut lands. Morrison leaning a little more. That is dangerous. He's leaning into George a little more. I said earlier, it's the 5th and 6th where he loses some of his strength. This the 5th of a scheduled 12. Few thought it'd go this far. A first or second round knockout would have surprised very few people. Foreman's really yet to land a great punch. Not stocking like earlier rounds, and 10 seconds left in the round. The round's over. You can see it was more Morrison, not hurt, just Morrison comes out with a right uppercut. His corner told him, lead with speed and follow with power. Lead with speed and follow with power. They said it over and over again. This, the 6th round of a scheduled 12. The minute mark to go. Nice left by Morrison. Lands cleanly. Sprays sweat everywhere. George comes low. Mills Lane warns him. Low blow by George. Morrison, a little bump over his right eye. Morrison really hasn't been a big bleeder thus far in his career. Most guys just haven't lasted that long to hurt him. Usually a single puncher. Good jab, follows with a right. That's about the extent of any Foreman combination. And this is comeback. A much faster and more furious boxer in his early years. Minute 15 remaining in the 6th, halfway through it. George with those long arms just keeps you at bay. Although Morrison whacked him a good left. Morrison much more movement. And Foreman's jab, though always effective, isn't deterring Morrison's effort. At least during his comeback. Oh, a right by Morrison. Or make it Foreman almost staggered himself, and Tommy comes back with it. 10 seconds left in the round. Morrison overreaches, then comes back with a punishing right hand, follows with a left jab. Round's over. Fairly furious last 15 seconds. Angelo Dundee telling Foreman the jab is everything. Those are some of Foreman's, to this point, probably a slight edge to Morrison. He's the more active fighter. It would be a stunner, to put it mildly, if it went 12. Foreman lands a good punch. Morrison, wild, missed both times. Not a good sign. Then he lands with a right. Foreman lands with a left and a right. Here we go. 7th round, a busy one. Foreman getting to Morrison. Heavy-handed, hurting him. Tommy moves out of the way. He said he's a better fighter, not a one-dimensional fighter. He can do more than slug. Foreman lands a good right, hurt Morrison. A minute yet gone in the 7th round. Morrison. Morrison's taking an uppercut. Both land with the left. Minute left in the 7th. Morrison jabbing, keeping away. George, a left and a right. Though it appears unsuccessful to this point. What a heavy right by Foreman. Feet on the side of his face. Just a big, heavy right. I mean, a Foreman handshake hurts enough. He brings that right around. It's painful. 10 seconds left in the round. Mills Lane stepping in momentarily, stopping the action to the chagrin of the crowd. Morrison, for the most part, stayed away this round after that brief, punishing flurry by Big George early.
You need more combination inside.
That right hand by Morrison that connected, but undaunted, Foreman came right back. Foreman's corner furious, livid at Mills Lane for that last low blow warning. George delivered that more than once to Evander Holyfield. That was a big left. You see the Vaseline come up in Morrison's eye, and he had to wipe it with his right hand. That Vaseline will help those punches slide instead of connect. And the highest knockout percentage in boxing history.
All right, George, get him up.
With the right.
Let's go, come on.
Yelling at him to get him up. And Foreman nodding. Very aware, very composed of where he's at. Becoming a more regular sight for heavyweight fights. George backs Morrison into the corner, and Tommy works his way out of it. 45 gone in the 8th. Heavy-handed Foreman, throwing a variety of punches. Morrison really never took a big shot more than elbow from Foreman. That'll work. Tommy still bouncing around, though not as regularly as before. He has stayed active enough, though, that George just can't track him down. A big low blow.
All right.
Big low blow. George knew it the minute he threw
Over
it.
here. Hey.
That will take the
here.
legs out of a fighter more than any punch.
Time. That's the second one. Next time, going to cost you a point, okay?
Look at George. George reaches out to grab him. George knew it was low.
10 minutes ready. That's the second one. Next time.
Yeah, that is south of the border.
Okay?
That hurts enough when he hits you in the shoulder. Big George staring him down.
Time in. Let's go. Let's go.
Time call again. Let's see how Morrison reacts. We'll probably get a look at that low blow again. None with maybe the power, however, of Foreman's. Morrison from time to time screaming as he throws his punches.
That elbow down in there.
Bringing everything he has. Triples up on the left.
That's those heads. What's the head in there?
I think that break probably helped Morrison more than Foreman. He's been breathing heavier in the corners. Morrison with a slow right and almost got 10 with a left. He's faking and flinching better than before, listening to his corner. The pace of the fight has slowed in the last couple of rounds. Both guys tiring, 10 seconds left. Around 9. I'd say 5-3. Maybe 6-2. WBO Heavyweight Championship, 12 rounds. Nice left by Morrison, his best punch in 2 rounds. His corner telling him everything was speed and get out when you feel heat. George missed with a left, followed with a right and missed again. Here comes Morrison, a couple huge punches, the left just landed. Foreman still leans in. George punching off 1 foot there. Dangerous tactic against Morrison. George has slowed a bit, but honestly, you're not going to get much slower than George at any point. It's just he's a little more deliberate now than earlier round. Speed's never been his forte. Power always has been. Nice uppercut. Morrison connected, but Morrison not as busy as a Stewart. More powerful, sure, but not as active. Foreman just not throwing that many punches, really. Doing more leaning than punches. strong convictions on both sides. Many loving the youth of Morrison, especially in these later rounds. Win or lose, if he gets knocked down in 10 seconds, Morrison's looked pretty good tonight. He's just waiting for that big right. You can sense it. He just never threw it. He hasn't thrown it much tonight. That's been the story for Foreman. Speed is what they're asking for in Morrison's corner. The round is over. These last few have gone quickly. Really emphasizing speed in Tommy's corner. Out of the break, Morrison with a right. Here we go, round 10. A lot of people thought the arena would be cleared by now. That's about the extent of George's punches tonight. He's just a little short. That looked better than it was. An early round punch spraying a lot of water and sweat. Big right by Foreman. That landed right around the chin. Morrison blocked the Foreman punch with his hand. George with a body shot. And a right that did little. That two-hand defense, if nothing else, frustrates a fighter. A kidney shot by George. Mills Lane says continue. He hit him in the back. Morrison's hurt a little bit. Foreman's going after him. That ticked Morrison off, but Foreman's still the aggressor. He wanted the fight stopped. Mills Lane would have nothing to do with it. Morrison extends in the right, doesn't land cleanly. George with a couple of rights of his own. Morrison ducks out of the way and lands a right. Morrison doing that to buy time and position. Morrison clearly tired. Nice right. Ooh, and Foreman's better punches of the night. Tommy's either hurt or tired. Those body shots of George wearing on him. He comes out of a clinch with a big left.
It's going to cost him a point. It's going to cost you a point. 1 point off.
Foreman, there's a punch. A point being taken away from Foreman could be critical, and Morrison came out with a bomb. Foreman missed wildly. Round's over. Not a good Foreman round. Took some punches and lost a point. So he... Angelo Dundee screaming at Mills Lane, saying, "You're not a good referee." Angelo Dundee is furious. We'll see how much that point matters. 6 minutes to go. WBO Heavyweight Championship. 20 years younger, but nonetheless tired. Morrison's got his work cut out for him to protect a small lead. That's his experience. Missed with the left. Morrison to this point holding true to his prediction that he is a better fighter, a little more savvy, a little brighter in the ring. And tonight he's proven that against a veteran, the veteran in boxing. He's been able often to dictate the pace. That's been Morrison's best punch tonight, breaking out of the clinch with a big left. His left is his best punch, but he stayed his distance. George comes over the top and hits him in the back. As Morrison has stayed his distance. Punched and moved. Foreman was low, but it didn't connect. Foreman landed a straight jab that's done little tonight. George getting as frustrated as Tommy was earlier. Morrison, a lot of movement.
And final round, how about a round of applause?
Morrison, hands in the air,
Morrison.
coming out for the 12th. Vaseline all over his face. Biggest round in Morrison's career right here. Protecting a lead. He feels he's the winner. Only thing that'll take it away is a careless mistake, which you cannot get away with generally with Foreman. Foreman knows this is a close fight, though he probably doesn't feel he has to knock him out to win. Morrison's right, a good punch, follows with a left. George bent Morrison's neck back with a left. George missed with a big left, then landed with a right. This could be the last 2:08 of George Foreman's boxing career. Morrison, mouth open, breathing heavily, takes a punch, dishes one out. This is dangerous territory in a corner. Morrison, just a few bumps. It's the length of the fight, a huge surprise. Big George has him against the ropes, just can't extend. There he does, and lands a good one to Morrison. Some of the crowd stands. Foreman's best punch in 5 rounds. Morrison exhausted. Mills Lane calls time. George has tape coming off his. Morrison a little resurgent. 30 seconds left in the fight. Boy, that did Morrison a huge favor. That's the second time he's gotten a break. His trainer said earlier, we don't even get that in practice. Tape still coming off. Mills Lane will pop up. Now he's got to call time again. He called time but didn't follow through with it. The tape's everywhere. Tape is everywhere. It's coming off. Fight is over. Fight is over. Mills Lane did what he had to do. Not popular clearly with the fans, but the tape was all over the place.
The WBO World Heavyweight Champion, we go to the scorecards. Dalby Shirley and Patricia Jarman both score the bout 117 to 110. Jerry Roth scores the bout 118 to 109 for the winner and new champion, Tommy the Duke Morrison.
Well, in a sense, Tommy Morrison arrived tonight. A unanimous decision, no matter how unpopular with the fans. A huge, huge night in Tommy Morrison's life.